Hello, 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 all you lovely people watching this video on this bright Saturday morning. That is right, I'm filming this video at, what time we got there? Maybe like 9 o'clock? And then hopefully I'll have it done and posted within the next few hours so you guys can watch it. How crazy is that? Usually I put weeks into my videos, but maybe I've just been lying this whole time and really I just throw this shit together last minute. But that's neither here nor now. Let's get into today's storytime video. I want to do something a little different today, besides just doing this absolutely last minute. And I want to tell you guys about a recent experience I had with Aladdin. And no, I'm not talking about the live-action Disney movie, which I'm sure is fantastic. I mean, my partner's name is Jasmine, so I definitely have an affinity for Jasmine's, and Jasmine was my favorite Disney princess. I just love those curved noses Arabs, man. Hot as fucking shit. I haven't seen the movie, and this is not a video about me tripping while watching the movie. That would be stupid. I can hear my dog outside. She barks. She agrees. This is actually a video about a compound called Aladdin. Now, for those of you who don't know, LAD is LSD. LAD stands for lysergic acid diethylamide, and LSD is lysergic sour diethylamide. I'm pronouncing this absolutely terribly wrong, but sour is the German word for acid, so Aladdin is actually AL-LSD, which is one of the LSD analogs, kind of like acid's cousin. It's one of the ones that Alexander Shulgin, the late great, wrote about it in his book, TCAL, Tryptamines I Have Known and Loved, and it is legal in many places. It's actually legal in Canada, and I'm not sure about the status in the States because you guys are a little more strict than us hippies. Now, it's one of those compounds that I've always been extremely excited to try because everyone who has done it, well, they do state that it's a little less potent than acid. For example, I believe 150 micrograms of Aladdin is something like maybe 80 to 100 micrograms of LSD. However, they state that it is far more visually enticing. The visuals are supposed to be delectable. Let's get into the story of my Aladdin experience. Unlike my usual videos, this isn't really a cautionary tale. This is just me telling you guys what the drug was like. Spoiler alert, it was disappointing. I've been looking forward to trying Aladdin for years, and I'm not saying that the live-action movie is as disappointing as Aladdin the drug, but hey, I hope Jasmine looks hot. So, consuming it was it was not a planned decision. I've been on this psychedelic rampage lately where I'm trying to just fine-tune some of the lessons that I've learned. Junkie. Yeah, that's what you might be thinking. You're just a psychedelic junkie. No, actually, I'm not. Psychedelics are self-regulating. In fact, every time I've taken it, it's been me trying to force myself to want to. It's not like a craving. It's like I've learned so many valuable lessons, and I've gotten to a place in my life, finally, for the first time ever, where I can trip now without fear. You don't know how beautiful that feels. And knock on wood, luckily I got this big ass wood table in front of me, all the knocks I can have. It hasn't gone dark yet, and also knock on wood, hopefully me saying that doesn't jinx it and make it so that now I'm kidding. The biggest thing that's changed, and the reason why I can finally experience psychedelics without fear, anxiety, without needing to run to Jasmine for help anymore, is because I started to incorporate discipline into my life. And I've known this the entire time. I was very undisciplined. I was taking focus drugs to do work, and I was caring about all the wrong shit. And once I started to just force myself to do stuff like work out and eat healthy, and what's been huge is actually the discipline to stop eating. I'm actually always hungry because I only am eating a certain amount of calories, and it's not just calories, it's eating the right kinds of calories. It is so difficult when you see all these people around you eating this delicious food and you're just like, oh, how many calories does it? Oh yeah, that's like 400. Nah, maybe I can have a bite. And I've literally just taken a bite of a donut, put it down, and walked away. I had an ice cream bar in the fridge. I took one bite a night. Do you know how much discipline it takes to take a bite of a delicious Haagen-Dazs ice cream bar, put it back in the plastic, and then put it back in the freezer? You know, we should have the ability to value our bodies and our health above instant gratification. And my life was all about instant gratification. I mean, I don't want to get into this again. I've talked about this before. When I was taking the focus drugs, well on it, all I was doing was just seeking those dopamine spikes any way I could get it, from, you know, texting people, reading video comments, eating ice cream bars, whatever I could do to get a new dopamine spike, I would do it. Masturbation was definitely a heavy hitter in that regard. Oh man, I ferociously masturbated on more than 5 times a day. I don't know, man. Some days were fucking nuts. Any of you guys who have taken Adderall know, if you want to go on a masturbation marathon, that is the golden ticket, my friend. One of the other side effects of not taking focus drugs is, as you can see, my ADHD levels are at an all-time high. Oh, what's that? You still haven't started talking about the Aladdin experience? Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let's dive headfirst into the Aladdin video. Now, as I started saying earlier, it was a totally random decision to take it. I had been trying to convince myself to trip again, because every time I have one of these experiences, and every time I'm able to make it through one of the nightmare sections on my own without needing help, I feel like I get a little bit stronger. Anyway, so I took the Aladdin probably around 11 o'clock at night, and I took 150 micrograms, let it dissolve under my tongue. Now, as it was coming on, I decided that my nerves were, you know, they were definitely a little higher than I would like, so I decided to take the psychedelic channel changer, also known as NOS, nitrous oxide. I did 2 little canisters of that, sat on the couch, heard that familiar noise going off in my head. I laid back and really just blacked out for a little while. It was just really confusing. I really don't know how else to describe it. I was just sitting on the couch and I had a very blank mind, like an empty slate. I didn't feel any pleasure. I didn't feel any fear. I didn't feel anxiety. I didn't really know who I was either. So it was kind of like just a really drab ego death. And I just kind of sat on the couch for, I think, 30 minutes. Probably just looked like this. In an absolute total trance-like state. Now, and I remember getting up and I started walking around in circles. I was just like a zombie, really. I can't really say much for the visuals at this point because I don't remember anything. I was just this tranced out zombie. Again, not in any kind of panic or feeling fear. I do recall getting a slight inkling of anxiety, but thanks to my newfound fucking discipline, baby, I just was able to breathe through it and it just kind of washed away. With this newfound ability to just accept whatever happens and not try to force my will on the trip, I just allowed the confusing phase to pass by, wandered around for a little bit, and I think it's around the 2 hours in where I regain my memory of what happened. I mean, maybe it was such a crazy intense trip that I was just shooting through the cosmos, like astral projecting myself into the psychedelic hyperspace realm, and I just can't remember. Maybe I talked to entities. I have no idea. I don't remember. But I do remember, as I said, about 2.5 hours in, walking around upstairs and looking at myself in the mirror, and that's when I finally notice the visuals. I mean, I'm sure there was visuals prior to this point. I just can't remember them, but they were ugly. I shit you not. Aladdin has some of the ugliest visuals I have ever seen in my life. And I've taken a lot of different compounds, man. Like even MDA, which just has slight visuals, were far prettier than Aladdin. I've never seen something so hideous, so atrociously grotesque. I was making faces, expressions at myself in the mirror, and I looked like a motherfucking clown. Not to say that I don't look clownish enough just in everyday normal life. Like I have a pretty expressive face over here. It made my lips look extra puffy and big and long. Like, you know, clowns have those drawn on red lips often. And my nose was like drooping. Like this part of it, this big ass schnoz I have here, it was like drooping down here. Let's add some quick special effects to show you what I looked like. And it made all of the contours and like the shadows in my face look extra cartoony. I could not think of a better name for this than Aladdin, because I looked like I was right out of a fucking Disney movie, and I looked like either the villain or the handicapped kid that's just there for comic relief, because it was not pretty. I also had the privilege of viewing my girlfriend in this state, and holy shit, did she ever look gross. I mean, I think she's a beautiful girl. She's gorgeous, but this compound made both of us look disgusting. She looked like a witch. Her hair was just pure white, and it looked really just thin and like it was falling out. Like it had this appearance of age and neglect to it. And her face just looked really fat, like just pudgy and round. And oh my goodness, I've never ever taken a psychedelic in my life that made everything just so grotesque. It was bizarre, man. It was really, really weird. Just weird. I don't know how else to describe it other than weird. Who is out there saying that this shit has good visuals? This really just hammers home how every single person reacts differently to every single drug, because on that, on an equivalent dose of LSD, on 80 micrograms even, I'm very sensitive to lysergamides. I can never say it right. Lysergamides, that's right. It just sounds wrong coming off my lips. Anyway, I'm very sensitive to them, and I get intense visuals off even 80 micrograms. Like I'll get tracers on acid. I'll start seeing patterns start to, emerge out of surfaces. I will see those like mandalas like manifesting in things. Everything looks beautiful. Everything's glowing, light. It feels like a mystical experience. And that's what I want to touch on next. Besides it really doing nothing except accentuating faces, it lacked the mystical quality. The reason why I am so fascinated with compounds like LSD is because it makes you feel like you're communicating with something greater than yourself. Like you're talking to your higher self or God, or I don't know how else to describe it, but it makes you feel like you're in the midst of a very religious experience. Definitely comparable to Moses talking to that goddamn burning acacia bush, which probably contained DMT. But all that was missing that. Now, again, maybe that confusing phase had some mystical qualities to it, and I just can't remember. But I want to say it's doubtful. It felt like just a very shallow experience. It's the best word I could use. It was shallow and ugly. And it was really weird because I wasn't seeing any other visuals. Like usually LSD has this effect where it makes everything look like it's like warping a little bit, like it's this underwater effect where it kind of is like stretching at the corners and tugging and pulling. But this wasn't doing that. About all it was doing was making human beings look ugly. I would definitely advise anybody out there against trying Alad if, I don't know, my LSD effects sound familiar to you. It's so hard to rate these compounds because, as I said, every drug affects everyone in such a different way. So it's like, just keep that in mind, that my experience really is just my experience. Maybe my brain is just really weird, but I am definitely curious to know if any of you guys have tried Alad, if you had similar, visual effects. And now the other thing that was interesting, that was different for me than with LSD, is it lasted longer, which is so weird because everyone says that it's shorter lasting. I was still feeling out of it and just confused. About 9 to 10 hours later, I was still feeling weird, which isn't like me. Usually when I take LSD, I'm feeling pretty normal even 4-6 hours later. Like at 4 hours, that's an exaggeration. I'm definitely still tripping, but that's when it kind of just starts feeling like normal everyday life. Like I get the vibe that I could be that way forever. Maybe that's just like my compound. Maybe for me, LSD is just very similar to how my brain naturally works, because sometimes I think about making videos and I make videos on topics that to me is just common sense and boring. And then to other people, they're like, wow, I love the way you think. You have such unique perspectives on things. And I'm just like, what? I'm humbled that, you guys might appreciate some of my unique perspectives. But to me, it's just normal shit. So maybe my kind of normal is like the 4-hour mark into the acid experience. Don't get me wrong, the peaks are definitely intense with LSD. Like, that is not my normal. I'm not always in an acid peak. But when the effects mellow out, I feel like, yeah, I feel like I could be that way. To summarize the trip, I would say that it was hideous visuals and an extremely confusing headspace that left me feeling like a zonked out zombie, slow, as if everything took longer to process for, 9 to 10 hours later. It just didn't feel worth it. I would 100% never repeat that compound. It sucked, which is weird because I've also tried Ethlad, which is another analog, which unfortunately has some scary physical effects, and that one had absolutely stunning visuals. Some of the most pretty visuals I've ever seen on a psychedelic. But no, if I were to go by what everyone says, then Aladdin should have had the best visuals, but it didn't. Absolute ugliest visuals on any psychedelic I've ever had in my life, hands down. That was Aladdin. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this off-the-cuff style video that I have just filmed and I'm going to launch and release, then please let me know below, because as I've said many times, my family's going through so much right now, and I am working on big projects. I hate making promises I can't keep, so I've decided that I'm just going to stop talking about the projects I'm working on, and everything I release will just be a surprise, because I'm just really tired of letting you guys down. If you had an insight into my life, it's been just such a crazy roller coaster, and I'm just really tired of saying that, but I'm working on something that I'm so excited about. It just pains me how slow it's coming along, but it is coming along. In the meantime, while I'm working on this video that is comparable to the LSD trip simulator, I think it's better, actually, much better. Did I just say that I was not going to talk about what I'm going to do, and now I'm talking about what I'm planning to do with the potential of letting you guys down if something happens and I can't follow through? Why am I so fucking stupid? No, I'm not going to do jack shit. I'm going to turn this camera off. I'm going to go play Mega Man 11, because that game is really challenging, and, post the video, and then I'm seeing my friend Jeff later. I'm still doing it. I'm still talking about what I'm doing later. Just stop. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Oh. And in case you were wondering, yeah, this is what losing your mind looks like. No. In all seriousness, this is just me chilling, making a silly video, having fun. I take shit way too fucking seriously, man. I really do. Every video that I release has to be so perfect, so cleanly edited. Sometimes it's nice just to stop caring, just to let it go. Just let that shit go. Just to release some calming content. And as you can tell, I am now executing my calm voice. If you are having a rough day, I believe I will begin an ASMR channel soon. My voice cracked there just a little bit. Hold on a second while I get some fruit to eat for your entertainment. Just 1 second. Look at what I've got. I've got some delicious sustenance. What do we start with? How does that sound? A little slower? Sounds like the crumpling of a paper bag. As Terrence McKenna would say about the DMT breakthrough experience. Oh, they're so cold. Look at these delicious cherry tomatoes. I'm going to rename this video How to Lose Subscribers and Fast. Mid-video, change your shit into ASMR. You ready for this? This is one of the most delicious olives that's ever had the pleasure of gracing my mouth. I love vegetables, man. I fucking love them. I don't know if it's just like the Greek in me, but I could sit here and eat this whole tub of olives. Yeah. Actually half Italian and half Macedonian / Greek. But you know, I need to take one of those ancestry tests to find out more, even though they're kind of not accurate. The same, I have a cousin who actually took all 3 companies. I think there's 3, at least that's what he said. And one out of the 3, I forget which one, I wish I could tell you, had totally different results, which was just weird. Oh, sorry. Yes, I know. All of you lovely peeps on Instagram told me that this is going to give me cancer. Oh, but just raw mushrooms. So delicious. Mushrooms. All right, I'm going to make my breakfast. See you guys later.